See, sometimes my computer takes a little while. We could be live now. Ah, yes, we are live now. Welcome, everyone. Hello, and welcome to HoDiGa. So here we are now. As usual, so I will introduce. We have Lady G here, of course, looking very poised and relaxed this evening. And of course, we have Dianne's Tarot joining us, and we were just having a little chit chat behind, a little bit of chit chat. But anyway, that shall remain private. And, my goodness, I mean, we talk about some interesting stuff. Let's just say that we talk about some interesting stuff off camera. And as usual today, the ladies don't know what questions are going to be asked, because it just works so well, doesn't it, these cold reads? And I love it the other way around, because sometimes that can just be the best thing. You just pull the cards and you see what happens. So, of course, we always try and keep the show to an hour, and I've got a few. So if we would imagine, we've got 4 main questions where we can go into a bit of depth. Someone asked an extraordinary question, which in many ways, I don't think the tarot can answer, but be more about a debate between the 3 of us on that. And then I've got some quick fire ones lined up. You know, when we do the one card pulls. So we're going to have quite a lot happening in the show. It's going to be very dynamic tonight. I think you'll find that questions really interesting. And before we start, we'll just say hello to everyone. So welcome everyone for joining us. You're all piling in. Who do we have? We've got let's just scroll up. Wow, everyone it starts so slow, then it just goes do, 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 do. So we've got Jamie, we've got SRF Mom, Surf Mom, Florida. Oh, I'm going to be asking one of yours today, Surf Mom. We've got Teresa Levine, Sandy Miller, Sheila Edwards, Azealia, and so many more. Oh, and look, we've got a hello here from, who's saying this hello? It should take a little while to pop up. Marsha Green, so saying hello to all of us here. Right, because there's so much to pack in, let's get stuck in straight away. We will let the events of the day unfold. So, ladies, are you ready for the first question?
Yeah.
Okay. So, now this is an interesting one. So, what karmas await senators, Republican or Democrat, who continue to use their access to non-public knowledge for personal gain? So what is that in relation to? There is this guy, Senator Barr or Burr, I think maybe it's Burr, and it was just something I saw on American news where they are looking into him for insider trading, because he sold off a whole bunch of stocks before the stock market crashed in regards to COVID. Yeah. And I just thought, or what they were saying on this thing is that this is something that is affecting both sides, both parties equally. So I just thought, how interesting. So what karmas await senators, Republican or Democrat, who continue to use their access to non-public knowledge for personal gain? Yeah. Which, of course, is not fair, of course. You know, we would all love a bit of insider information, wouldn't we? When it came to the stock market and, gold or Bitcoin or whatever bits and bobs people may have.
Wow. Okay. So my cards are pretty telling.
Ooh.
So starting off with, I think the actual information, the high priestess, the hidden agendas, the secret motives, the things that are behind the scenes that we don't know about, that they are privy to. The obstacle is, oh boy, are they going to feel a lot of emotions?
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at the rest of the cards, the emotions are not positive. These are going to be heavy, dark, ominous sort of emotions, such as stress, anxiety, worry, fear, sleepless nights. So that tells me, okay, karma is indeed coming.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are going to be left fighting all by themselves.
Wow.
You know, here they are trying to make their last stand, and they're fighting against everyone. The card of sorrow, grief, depression, losing maybe not everything, but losing a lot, but I think it's also going to force a lot of them out. You know, as they were waiting for their ship to come in, here their back is turned and they're going. So yeah, I do think that there is indeed some negative karma coming for some of these folks.
Wow. And it's very interesting when you see my cards as well. But Lady G, what do you have for us?
Well, in the center of it all, I have Child of Cups. You know, new things coming out. They're still clinging to the past, hoping that they can kind of get through it if they spin stuff enough. But going into it, we have the Actor, the Man of Wands, the False Face, and they're just kind of jumping off a cliff with what they've been doing. As far as all the truth coming out with it, it's kind of going to take some time, postponed. But going forward, we have to have patience. They're walking a tightrope. They're kind of on a double-edged sword with stuff. And we've got the Sage of Cups. You know, they've got experiences coming up which are not going to be great. Okay, so yeah, but it might take a little bit of time before this all starts coming out and their masks are taken off.
Yeah, that would make sense. They were saying on the news thing that that basically it's not in whenever they do investigations into this, somehow the investigations always end up getting mothballed because there's both sides. You know, it's kind of like, do we really want to tackle this? Right. So the cards that what do I have? So I've got here the Moon card. Yeah. Look at that. Which is, again, it's that same thing, isn't it? Things being hidden by the moonlight, things not being clear. And we're having to kind of grope around in the dark because that's where a lot of those decisions are being made. Very similar to you. Look, I get the Two of Wands rather than three. I get the two, but it's very similar meaning. So this is them, look, prospecting, looking, planning. Yeah. This guy is looking here at the world, and of course stocks and stuff like that are global things, and this is actually wands are associated with passion but also business, and these cards in particular, the 2 and the 3, well, 1, 2 and 3 always deal with business, don't they, and prospects. Now, but what in what respect? If we look at that, 6 Pentacles, you know, so it's all about what the money changing hands. And then when we look here, look, even more money, yeah, changing hands. You know, so we can see, look, they work really hard on their money. This is one of these kind of preoccupations. Now, what we should say is that, look, this is, no political party is perfect. Yeah, this is coming really from both sides. However, when we look here, rapid change is coming. So I think when people get more and more aware of this, I think things will have to change. Right. Okay. Anything to add on to that before I introduce a few more people who have joined us? Brilliant. So let's see, what do we hear? So someone's here saying, could we read on the governor? Yeah, maybe next week, because we are quite busy this week, Jackie, but thanks for your question. We've got Jamie here, we have got Mark McKenzie, Wanda. Yeah. Oh yes, hello Mark. And who else have we got? Claudia, Lucretia, so many of you, and lots of you sending messages, so we'll try our best. Someone's saying here they are from
Connecticut.
So that's, yeah, really cold. And isn't it funny, because I was saying, because Saturn's very strong, we will be dealing with cold weather events, and particularly maybe when we don't expect them as well. So that can just be a bit of a side effect there. Okay, next question. So question number 2. So here we are. Is Tucker Carlson a paid up puppet Russia propaganda agent? Because isn't it interesting? Yeah. Now, for entertainment purposes only, everyone. Yeah, for entertainment purposes only. But I did a video on him, I think it was last August, and I said around from January onwards, I said the energy of his life and chart was going to change. Yeah, he's just started his Saturn Mahadasha, and we know Saturn is what? Balloon popper, karma, responsibilities. And it's a 19-year period. It lasts for 19 years. So this is like 19 years of graft and scrutiny for a certain Tucker Carlson. But let's see how that plays out.
Oh, you can't make this stuff up.
Don't tell me you got the 7 of Swords or something.
I can't make this up. I mean, you literally can't make this up.
Ah, there it is.
I mean, our little Russian friend came out to visit.
I think that's just a big old yes, isn't it? Just straight off the bat.
I mean, yeah, do I need to read anything else? Yes. So
I wasn't even looking. I had my eyes closed and I just knew. All right, Dianne, go for it.
Oh, gosh. So right now, he is the king of emotions. He is all caught up in his feelings because this is not the future he planned on. I think he was promised big things. I think he actually was silly enough to believe in them. And so now here he is, the king of emotions, and not in a good way because his obstacle is judgment. Judgment is coming for him. So that means to me that he's going to be held accountable. So even though we're not hearing much at this moment, give it time. Because first of all, he doesn't have any fast moving cards with me. So this tells me, okay, it's going to be kind of long and drawn out. He is trying to persevere, but he is wounded. He's bandaged up, and he's all by himself out there. Why? Well, because he had some dealings with the Russians that he tried getting away with it, but look what the outcome is. The card of poverty, losing it all, losing all your money, your health, your well-being, your happiness. So this isn't a happy outcome for him. So yeah, 7 of Swords, there we go again.
My gosh, remarkable. And Lady G, just before you start, thank you, Mark McKenzie, for your donation. And thank you to Donna Bailey. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, in the center of it all, we have, of course, disinformation.
Yeah, the moon.
Spin, he's under the master for his conversation. Okay.
Reads like a book.
It's kind of like a book, yeah. In the past, and going into it, his past life, he's been victorious through his drama. Okay, the whipping boy over there for everybody else. But now he's going into some new vision, seeing things, and things are blocked. Things are not going so well for him, and it's only a matter of time because this is moving on. Puzzle pieces are coming together, completion when it comes to Putin and who he's being driven by. And the last thing is, of course, he's been friendly. And has gone forward, charging forward with the stuff he does because he's under contract to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
Not looking good, is it? Not looking good. You should see my cards now. The two of you brace yourselves because you're just going to be laughing as well. It's just remarkable. All right. So what's the first card that symbolizes Tucker Carlson and everything that's going on right now? There we are. Look at that.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
Yeah. And as we know, this isn't always literal death or whatever, but it is the ending of a king. Yeah. When you look closely at the card, there is the king.
Yeah.
Trampled underfoot, under the hooves, and the wife is just like, oh, the queen is like, oh my goodness. And then look, you've got here the priest trying to intercede, but of course death doesn't listen, and he's like, yeah. So it means he's in a period of change. Isn't it interesting that that card has come up, and he would have just recently started his Saturn Mahadasha, which is all about restrictions and having to face some of the more tougher aspects of life. What's crossing it? Look at that. Feeling burdened. He knows he's in some deep doo-doo right now, and he's probably trying to think, how do I get out of this? Because you can't be pro Putinshka for months, if not almost a year or so on end, and suddenly read it back and just go, oh, it was my evil twin. Yeah, it was my evil twin. It wasn't me. No, you just can't. So look at this, another major Wheel of Fortune. Literally, Tucker's fortunes, like I said, for entertainment purposes only, are changing. But what's interesting here is, look, I get a fast-moving card. I think something's going to be breaking down the back door quite soon, actually, because I'm not sure how willing people are to put up with this now in light of what's been happening. And look what I get. I get that card as well. Yeah. So it's so fascinating, isn't it? So he's going to be feeling quite bruised. I think he's going to be feeling quite bruised and battered by everything. And he may even be shocked at how much the backlash is going to be. And it can't feel good when you've got other pundits on other channels that are just basically saying, look, you're a liar and you're just siding with you know who. So that can't feel great. Right. Are we ready for the next question?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, all good. So thank you. Oh, we just had another donation in. So what's this? Thank you, Miss Brazil. Thank you so much. And who else do we have? We've got Jamie Rodriguez. We've got Liz Lopez, Jenny W, Annie Finch, Jamie. Oh, I'm rereading Jean Nizalowski. Hello from Manhattan. Oh yes, Manhattan. I think is going to have a snowstorm, aren't they? And they're having some kind of snowstorm. So there's that. Thank you everyone again for joining us, and we're at just over 800 now. So this is amazing.
Oh wow.
Yes. Okay. Next question. Now this is coming from Linda Surmeyer. And this is a UK-based question, and I'm very curious about this. So she said, I'd like to know what the English government thinks about their separation from the EU in light of Russia advancement on Ukraine. So just to give everyone a bit of background, the British have been, basically like, oh, thank you, Mr. Popolop. Let's take the money. Yeah, they've just been like, yeah, lots of that. But also, you understand that the Brexit vote was very close, wasn't it? Do you remember? It was very close. And it was less than 40% of the population that voted. And we know that there was propaganda. Yeah, there was propaganda and all that kind of stuff. And the Brexit vote won out by less than 2%. Now, if you live in Germany and you have a big important referendum like that, it has to be 60% plus of the people must vote. When really for the UK, it was literally like 48-52 or something like that. And in light of all the propaganda that's been happening, it certainly puts Brexit, I think, personally for me, I can't speak for others, but I think it puts Brexit in a different light. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the cards say. What do you have?
My cards are extremely negative. So you're going to have to put it into some context for me, why they're so terrible. So first of all, they don't all seem to be agreeing on all of this. So not everyone's happy. There's different opinions, values, beliefs, morals. Nobody's agreeing. But the obstacle is that this is going to lead to something really negative. It's going to lead to a tower moment for England. So, okay.
We're running out of money, apparently. Oh, there we go.
Right. A card of greed and sinfulness and feeling chained down and stuck. Fighting a ruthless battle, having an abuse of power, asking, was it worth it? Followed by the death card.
Oh.
So there has to be, I mean, this isn't like, you know, this for me is an extremely cold read. But obviously these cards are all extremely negative.
But it correlates when we look at it, because it's, even at the time that we're having the debate, it was said that there were lots of lies anyway, and there was lots of things bandied around. So like Boris Johnson, our current prime minister, was saying £250 million per week for the NHS if we leave, yeah, on the side of big buses. He actually wrote 2 versions because he still writes. He used to be a journalist, and he did a pro Europe version and the pro Brexit one, and he cynically chose the pro Brexit because he knew that would probably get him into power. It was like a month long. It basically, it was like Game of Thrones when it was all playing. I mean, really, it was like Game of Thrones, the backstabbing and galore. There were lots of untruths told, but there was a bit of scaremongering on the other side as well. Some people, maybe they over-egged the economic consequences, but we can see that it's not, Brexit really hasn't been a success. It hasn't been tons of money for the NHS. We're starting to have real transport and border issues now as well. So
okay. Okay.
Guys, yes. So
okay.
Lady G, what do you have for us?
Well, at the center of it, we had the merchant card, you know, thought it was going to be decent. It was about money, prosperity, but now we have the high tension. Okay. Things are about going into it. We have the abuses of power with it. Hard lessons being learned, the pearl of great price. You learn by going through it, and it's going to come to an end. They're looking at it now, and they're not liking what the return is, blowing your mind. They're a bit going at the direction where this has gone. Going forward, we have those that are going to be speaking out against it. You know, we have the clouds and solar returns. And finally, we have the coming together, you know, the conversations coming together. We have Ganesh, Lord of Obstacles. So they're going to get beyond it, but, you know, it's going to take a bit. It's going to be hard-won lessons at the end with it. Yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah, that I can well believe. And thank you, Catherine, for your donation. Very kind of you. Well, you can imagine, as a Brit, you know, seeing all this, I'm seeing this from the beginning, and, you know, among us Brits, we've talked this all out, and, you know, I accept the result. Yeah, I accept the result, but it really wasn't good, and really and truly, it's just not so great. I mean, really, it's a kind of, that's really what it is. I mean, it really is what it is. It's not happened the way it's all been cracked up to be. What do we have? Magician. So we know the positive of the magician, of course, is going forward, strident with energy and using all the skills that you have at one's disposal. But really, for me, this is very much characterizes the energy of the context of the debate in the first place. And we know the shadow of the magician is what? Manipulation. Mm. Both sides were throwing the kitchen sink at the argument for stay in or leave. But the leave campaign in particular was noted for its basically twisting things. So here for me, this shows the context that really it was an elite that was forcing their will and just using every trick they had in the book. But now look, what's the obstacle? Loss, 5 of Cups. it's really not turned out to be this great money boon where we're doing trade with this, that, and the other. I mean, the ministers were like, oh yes, now we've got a trade deal with Tonga and blah, blah, blah. Like what? What are we going to be selling to each other? They're selling like what? Do you know what I mean? I mean, not to dismiss Tonga, but I mean,
right.
A tiny island.
Yeah.
That's supposed to prop up when we've lost effectively like 60% of what is our main revenue with our neighbors next door.
But they've got lots of coconuts.
What exactly? Exactly. That's what I was thinking, like, oh, baked beans for coconut. I mean, really, I mean, it's just ridiculous. So now look, this in many ways symbolizes the UK economy. It's asleep.
Yeah.
We did well for a bit, but now all of the dramas are over and the bounce back, and now we're having to deal with distribution issues globally and all that kind of stuff. For me, this is the British UK economy, basically going to sleep, stagnating. And then we see Queen of Swords. So here, there's going to be lots of legal debate. I think there's going to be lots of legal debate going forward. And we also may have women as well stepping up to the plate, basically to kind of tell the truth, really. It's time for this kind of truth to kind of come up. And we just need to, as a nation, most of us accept that it's really not worked. But there are still some people still holding on to the BS, and it needs to stop. Yeah, because look what's coming. Justice. Yeah. Justice. So this, when I look at this is legal issues.
Yeah.
This is legal issues. And I think in light of what is happening with Russia, and we know all of that dark money and what it funded, I think a lot of people are going to be starting to ask very deep and probing questions now about what really was the nature of that Leave campaign, because we know it was not in Putinshka's interest to have what? A united Europe.
Right.
And that was one of the most divisive subject matters. You know, that really did put a split. I'm not saying Europe is perfect, but now look, now everyone's come together. So I think there's going to be legal questions. A lot of people are going to be like, we might need to look at that again. Okay. Are you ready, ladies, for the next question?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. So now this is quite a long question, and this is so Surf Mom Florida, this is yours. Shout out to you. And I thought this was very interesting. So she said, for those of us who are empaths or light workers, I am overwhelmed with the negativity surrounding us and the sadness of Ukraine. Is there a way to channel it for positivity and good? Will we ever find peace in our hearts? Blessed. I mean, that's quite a question, isn't it? But isn't it pertinent? Yeah. Isn't it pertinent? So let's pull on that. I just thought I had to share that one. Any thoughts on that, ladies, while we shuffle?
Where to begin?
Big
You know, it's rising above that dark energy. It's connecting with your heart chakra, connecting to that higher vibration, that higher frequency, that of the angelic realm, and channeling that energy and consciously and intentionally sending it to Ukraine. So that way you feel like you have some control. When you feel like, okay, I can actually do something sitting in my house because my energy is going to combine with all the other light workers' energy. And then I can imagine just surrounding Ukraine in this love and light. And I can do this every day, and I can channel this and give myself a little bit of control and power back. Because there's a sense of helplessness, I think.
Yeah. You won't believe my cards. My goodness. Lady G, do you have any comments on that before you pull your cards? How are you been feeling about the enemy?
You know, when I say, this too will pass, and we're in the midst of transition for the planet, we're learning hard lessons. And so, all one can do is put out there for the best that can happen, and just, continue to go forward, continue to go forward with it.
Yeah, very, very
and
wise.
We learn the best things through the hardest times. Those pearl of great price that we get from those tough times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true, very true. And just over 1,000 have joined us now. So thank you
Also,
guys.
you don't need to take it in if you're an empath. Understand what's your stuff and somebody else's.
Exactly.
So, you know, allowing all that in and feeling that pain, it doesn't do anything to help anyone. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I say to my clients all the time. Sometimes the feelings that you're feeling, if you're an empath, they may not even be your feelings.
Exactly. I
They
teach
may
a whole
be yours.
class on that in my membership, a whole empath class for that reason. Because sometimes you can, especially as an empath, you can feel sad or angry and it's not even yours.
Yeah, it's not yours. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you go close to somebody or you're watching news or something, all of a sudden feelings have changed. Recognize it's not yours, it's somebody else's.
Yeah.
And cut the cord. Cut the cords.
Yeah.
Keep the love and the lessons, but let everything else go.
Stay grounded, take a breath, and you know, just send out that energy for the best to be done, and then let it go.
Indeed, indeed. And what cards did you both get? If you want to share cards,
my cards are actually very hopeful. My cards show a light at the end of the tunnel. So, you know, right now, yes, everyone's feeling like this character. But also to remember, the reason he's feeling burdened and oppressed is because he's not bundling up the wands, putting them on the back so he can stand up straight and see where he's going. You know, he's going through life clouded and not being able to see clearly, but that's also his own decision. So that's what I'm saying, like, take back a little bit of control. The obstacle is everyone's strength and inner courage and patience is being tested right now. But the light at the end of the tunnel is that justice and judgment are going to prevail. So good judgment, you know, there will be legal proceedings. So justice will prevail in this. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and sometimes you have to focus on that good so you don't get caught up in that muck and mire of the day to day.
Yeah, absolutely. Lady G, do you have some cards as well to elaborate on what you shared?
In the center of it, we have Knight of Cups and desire. So this is there to open up your desire of what you want to give, what you're wanting to present emotionally out there. Helps to open empaths. Going into it, we have the Magician. People want to use all their tools for change, but understand this is all impermanent. Okay, we're in the transient realm, so don't get too wrapped up in it. Again, we have King of Cups, compassion. So being resilient through all of the emotional things. That's part of it to learn when you're having compassion to have that resilience. Remember, the willow that bends will make it the one that's stiff cracks and breaks. So you have to have that resilience. We have 10 of Swords, a difficult time coming to an end though, and we just need to surrender to what's taking place. We may not always understand what's happening, why it's happening, but there is, you know, we do have the divine is that wants the best for humanity. Okay. So the last is Empress, always giving. Shakti, Empress is always giving, and just seek guidance through that time, through your higher, you know, the higher ups that are working with you, your guides and guardian angels, etc.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. That's really, really good. And I'm just lining up. Let me just make sure that I've got the right question ready. Is this going to Catherine S? Good. Okay, I've just got it here. Let me just read more. It was a long question, so I've set it up on my mobile phone. Okay, so what do I have now? I feel like my cards are just really reading the energy of the moment.
Yeah.
They're not so future oriented. So when we look here, Two of Wands, what are we all doing collectively? We're prospecting, aren't we? We're looking at the world. We're looking at the situation with Ukraine, looking at the plans that are unfolding, but also as well, what have we noticed? The world literally has come together to support Ukraine. What's the obstacle? What we're worried about? We're worried about what? The refugees, the poverty, the loss. So really, we're here looking on, and the world is basically shocked, isn't it? We're all shocked because we're like, this is 2022. This is 2022, and there's not even any smidgen of a reason for going in. There wasn't like there was an insurgency or there was some kind of terrorists or whatever. Not that it makes an excuse, but this is literally no pretext at all, apart from Putinshka wanting something. And what has that done? It's made us feel what? Heartbroken. But this is also the Ukrainian people as well, just literally because they're seeing their country being torn to bits. But when I look at the next card that comes out, look, the Russia card.
Yeah.
Look at this. But when you put those three together, think about the sanctions.
Right.
What's happening to Russia right now?
They're miserable.
Exactly.
They're miserable as well, because it's like they are because of what a certain person has done, irrespective of what they believe or what they don't believe. This is one person's decision. And we know what has happened to the Russian economy. It has been decimated. And you remember where, I think it was last week or the couple of HoDiGa's before, and we were all speaking about this looks like real impoverishment for Russia. And I remember before the sanctions were imposed, or around that time, I saw Russia being like entwined by like a serpent and just being crushed. And I just knew, and that's why I said they won't be able to afford McDonald's. It's not even a case of being able to afford that now. McDonald's is pulled out.
I was going to say McDonald's and Starbucks have pulled out of Russia.
Yeah. You know, when you were showing that, it just reminded me of the double-edged sword. Both of them are getting it. What he's doing is as above, so below. He's
really is. Because it's speaking for both nations, isn't it? Let me just turn the light to the side. And in a way, isn't this kind of perverse kind of fate, in the sense of, because this is a brother and sister nation.
Yeah,
they are so close historically. So if what happens to one will happen to the other. You know, it's because of what Putinshka has done. He's brought this ruin, and then look, the outcome card is what? So much emotion. So much emotion. So because too, when we think about it as well, Russia's also looking out at the world as well because of all those sanctions. They're like, whoa, the world. It's like the world is literally against us. And I don't care who you are, what dictator you are, you can't defeat the whole world. And I don't know if you've heard recently, but Putinshka has recently sacked, he's put 2 of his generals under house arrest. Have you heard about this?
I did.
I hadn't heard that, but I'm not surprised. I knew that was going to come.
And he sacked a whole bunch as well. And
they're starting to turn on him, I believe. I think that's what we're watching, is they're all starting to turn. They're saying, look, this isn't ethical. This isn't right. And our country is being destroyed. Our own people are being destroyed. And we can't go along with it.
Well, he's threatening, you know, that the Russian soldiers, they can't come back. If they come back, he's going to shoot them. He's going to, you know, so
And he didn't send them with rations. How cruel. I mean, what kind of leader are you to not give your soldiers enough food, water, and fuel?
Well, what food rations he's given have expired 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was, 2015, something like that, out of date. It's just
that's why they're not eating. Oh my. I mean, even their tires are like going flat on some of their vehicles. Like, I mean, these things are just so out of order. And you would think if you're going to invade a country, you would at least make sure
be ready.
Check the expiration dates, I guess. Right?
Check the gas.
I mean,
the gas. You know, if you're going to roll a tank, is the tank full?
It takes fuel. Oh Lord.
It's just
It's
crazy.
he's descending into madness. And
Yeah,
I think
it really
that's
is.
what we're watching.
Yeah,
It's madness.
Exactly, the great unraveling, because this will go down in history as the biggest miscalculation ever.
Yes,
And now he's blaming his intelligence and blah blah blah, and of course it must be their fault and all that kind of stuff. It's like, come on.
He's too smart for that. He's so intelligent. He's cruel, but he's intelligent.
Exactly.
He's analytical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now he's blaming the generals, trying to make out that he didn't know what was going on, and he's trying. And at the end of the day, even if that was correct, can anyone tell him the truth? Because what happens? You get thrown into jail. You get put into house arrest. Who's going to be like, yes, Putin is terribly. It's going terribly, mind it. You know, it'd be like, you know, straight away with some karate kick and then some poison claw, you know, in the neck, and you're finished. Yeah.
Which brings me back to his health. Is he healthy?
No.
I don't think he is.
No.
If he was healthy and well, I don't think this would be happening.
Yeah, there's no way. There's just no way. This is someone who is at the very edge of their tether. And actually, Dianne, you give me a great segue here. I did a little bit of astrological digging, of course. We're all talking about Pluto return, aren't we? So we know it's coming into America's second house, but everyone in some way is all having to deal with Plutonian issues because Pluto has changed sign. Capricorn is the sign of government, and that's why we're seeing all this stuff coming out. So there's more to come, folks. Grab your popcorn and all that kind of stuff, and just let's see where from different things. But there's going to be transformation as well. We're also seeing what? Transformation globally. Now, do you remember, you guys may remember, but I was looking into Putin's chart and I was like, let me look at these epochs of time. So I looked at Pluto to see what ages people would be in. Now, there's something important to know. Now, everyone talks about Leo, and the boomer generation, etc., saying, oh, they wanted to keep that all to themselves and all this different kind of stuff. But you know what? I had a look. Now, the generation before the Leo generation is the Cancerian generation. Yeah. Now, what's Cancer all about? Cancer is all about what? Homeland, security. It's about protection, wanting to nurture something, not wanting to let something go. Yeah. Now, that time period went from the 14th of July, 1933 to the 29th of June, 1954. It lasted for 21 years. Yeah. That is the generation where they had to face what? The Second World War, where it's all about defense, protecting something, you know, who's part of the tribe. Yeah, there's that. Now, there is a section in Cancer in Vedic astrology, which is called Aslesha. It's the last part of Cancer. Now, it's an amazing nakshatra, but it has a bit of a bad reputation. This section is known as the Embracer, and it deals with serpents, and it can also deal with poison and losing one's mind. I'm going to read for you some dates. President Xi Jinping, 68 years old, born June 15th, 1953. And when I checked, his Pluto was in the sign of Cancer in Aslesha. Poison. Yeah, it's not always poison, but this is the shadow.
Right.
Donald J. Trump, Duck L'Orange, again, for entertainment purposes only. Born June 14th, 1946. Guess what? Pluto was in Aslesha. Vladimir Putin, 69 years old, October 7th, 1952, with Pluto in Aslesha. And not only that, Gandanta, drowning, which means it's lost its control. He's known as what? The poisoner.
Yeah.
And now he's losing what? He's completely lost the plot. And I just thought I would share that. And Barack Obama, just so you know, is he was born August 4th, 1961. He's in the Leo portion, and he's in a section which is called, let me just get this right. Yeah. And he's in a section of Leo called Purva Falguni, and that's all about performing, being charming, charismatic.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Joe Biden, who was born on the November 20th, 1942, he's in Cancer, but he's in Pusha, which is known as the nurturer.
Makes sense.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Still Cancer, but a different nakshatra, which is all about mother's milk, nurturing, wanting to what? Feed people, help people. And just as a little flashback here, Alexander Lukashenko, Putinshka's only friend, 67 years old, born August 30th or 31st, 1954. He's in Leo, but he's in a section called Magha, which is where you take the throne and you don't let it go. Isn't that interesting?
Well, did you know another interesting tidbit? That if you add up the year that World War I started, you get 68. 6 plus 8 is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. If you take the year that and the date, you know, the whole complete date for World War I that it started, World War II when it started, 68 plus 8, 14. Okay, the date that Putin invaded Ukraine, also 68, ends up being a 5. So all three of them end up being 5s, which the number of change, right? Which is the number of change, transformation, dynamic, transition, but also wanting freedom.
Yes.
And so when you're doing that, when you're doing that, you're using the month, the day, and the year?
Yeah, so like say you would take the month plus the date plus the year.
Okay.
And you break the year into like say 19 plus whatever. And then, you get 68. 6 plus 8 is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. So World War I, World War II, and the date that Putin invaded Ukraine all are 5 numbers in numerology.
Wow. That is astonishing, because 5, for those of you that may or may not be familiar, but 5 is one of the most dynamic numbers. And when you think of the 5 of Wands, all of the 5s in tarot deal with what? Dynamic change, don't they? Remarkable. And we've got over 1,200 of us who have joined us this evening. So guys, I hope you're enjoying the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow. So thanks for sharing that, Dianne. This is absolute cracker. Okay, so here, this is more of an existential question. If you're ready for it, let's how we're doing on time. I think we're doing okay. We'll answer that, and then we'll do 1 card pulls. So this has come in. Let me just get this up on my phone. This has come in. You know when you do that, and then the phone refreshes, and you're like, here we are.
Yes.
So annoying. All right. So this is coming from Catherine S. Bit of a long question, but I just thought well worth it. So it is often said by physics that Earth is a school for spiritual growth and evolution. Maybe not physics, but, you know, in terms of in the spiritual world. Any given moment, there are many different souls learning different lessons all over the earth. Yeah. If we were to conceptualize Earth School as containing different levels of consciousness / lessons from a kindergarten level to a 12th grade, what grade level would, in light of recent events, a pro-Putin autocracy person be at versus a pro-Ukrainian democracy? So there's that, yeah? But she adds a caveat. I want to be extremely delicate with this, because I know that spirituality, that we all come here with different experience levels, and this is not entirely a bad thing, but I think it might give our community here a more informed idea of the type of consciousness we are dealing with and how to interact with it. Thank you. So you see, quite a big thing. I didn't think that could just be a tarot thing, maybe more of a debate. So Dianne, what do you think about what Catherine said?
Well, first of all, that's a Dolores Cannon concept, right? That Earth is a school where you learn how to manipulate energy and that we come here to learn lessons. But that's not, if you listen to everything that Dolores Cannon has to say, that's not entirely true, because then you have all of us who are all wanderers who just came to help. So it's not that we're not learning lessons, because of course we are, but that wasn't really the purpose of us. And so when it comes to levels of consciousness, a planet only has one level. So we are third density. That is it, according to the law of one, according to the Ra. So it's not like some people are somehow living in a different realm and they're up here, because that's a very human concept, that I'm better than you. You know, because I'm pro this, that means I'm better than you. Or because I'm a manager or a director, I'm better than you. Someone just asked me that about archangels. You know, like, well, aren't archangels better than regular angels? No, they're just having a different title. So this idea of superiority, like I'm better than you because of this or that, no, you just agreed in your soul contract to take on certain lessons, whereas somebody else decided to take on other lessons. So no, I mean, the whole planet is third density going to fourth. I mean, so I'm answering like how you would with the law of one, and because I channel the Ra. So that's my belief system. I hope that makes sense.
No, I think that made sense. Lady G, what's your contribution to that question, which she did caveat, but I just felt it was worth sharing. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that they're going through Ukraine at the moment. Most of them are going through 3 different levels at once: survival, personal power, and also heart for their, for defending their homeland. So I think they're going through 3 different levels and states of consciousness at this present time. The other side, now, it just depends where they're at. If they're personal power, they're trying to keep their structure. And, depending on what they're talking, if they're doing propaganda, if they're doing the propaganda, they're going through the throat, what you're speaking. And and I think also they're just in their personal power, trying to hang on. So their dynamic, I think, overall is a bit different than Ukraine. Ukraine has got more heart pulled into it. I think the Russian thing, if they know what's going on, it's more of their own survival and stuff, and trying to appease Putin. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So what I would add to that, I've got a bit of echo going on, I think. What I would feel I can contribute to that, and to echo the both of you. So with Dianne, of course, like you say, there can be that element, that human desire. Desire is not the right word, but we are very aware of status, and we try and categorize people into groups, and that is just an instinctive human need. And I was shown that explicitly once when I did there was a work training exercise. Everyone had to hold cards that were of value, from ace being 1 all the way up to a king. So there was that many people, but they could not show their card to anyone else, but they had to act at the appropriate level that they felt that status afforded. And then they had to line themselves up according to their status. And you know what happens? The cards always read from 1 all the way up to the king. And we were gobsmacked. And the guy said, this technique works in every single country in the world, because we as human beings are so aware of hierarchy, and it's very hard for us to not go there. So we're not saying this is a bad question, but I think it's a good question in the sense of, in terms of the human experience, there's no better or less. We're all here having our experiences, and we've all come for different reasons. Like Dianne said, some of us are wanderers, all 3 of us are here are wanderers, obviously, we come in and, giving our 6p worth and just bailing out, wherever we can. but then On the other side, on the other side, with what Lady G was saying, it's what we must remember is that what we perceive as the other side, say like what's happening with Russia, we need to remember these people have been gaslit and lied to for decades, to the extent that they don't even believe their own children. They do, when their children who are in Ukraine say we're being bombed, their mom and dad is going, no, can't be true. Yeah. So we need to understand Putin has been in power for like 20 plus years. The Russian people have Stockholm syndrome, largely. They've got Stockholm syndrome. Do you know what I mean? If you are 20 years old or less, you've only known Putin's lies, drip, 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 drip. So I would say we still need to have, even for those that may not believe in the conflict, we still need to have compassion, because as our car showed, they are just as much in the mix. Well, they're not being bombed. We can't do false equivalence, but they have no economy anymore. You know, we could be looking at mass starvation in Russia. I mean, that's not too hard to imagine.
No, I think that's what's going to happen, actually.
Yeah, and they're going to have a mass awakening when they find out the truth of what happened with Russia and how they've been deceived. So they have a real huge jump that's coming.
Yeah, and probably around about April, you know, kind of as the astrology will predict. So great question, though. Thanks for sharing it. We've got about 5 minutes left. Shall we do some one-card pulls?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so this one came in from Annabelle Sukal. So thank you, Annabelle. She had a consultation with me recently. How badly will the food supply be affected by this war, and what can the average person do to cope? Great question.
Is this for all over the world? Is it for one country, or is it?
I mean, I would say this is like all over the world, but tune in as you feel you should, in just regards to inflation and food in general, I would imagine. Let's see. Okay, how will rising prices affect people, and how will they cope? All right, I've got a card.
Yeah, my card's not too promising. People are going to feel stabbed in the back and lied to and betrayed.
Yeah, that's I think what we're all getting. I've got Moon. I've got, you know, they're those that can use it to inflate their stuff are going to lie through their teeth and do it.
Yeah, and I think here as well. Look, we see people rushing forward, the situation rushing forward, because we know this is upon us now, because we were talking about this last year and we're saying, look, inflation, now it's here, it's quick, and it's not looking very comfortable. I wish we could be more positive, but it's one card pulls, isn't it? It's one card pulls. So it's choppy, but hold on, folks, hold on.
Yeah.
And it will pass, because at least that card, the Knight of Swords, is a fast.
Just know you're going to get gaslit along the way and stuff too.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, next one. This is Deepa Kavani. Will Zelenskyy be safe and unharmed for the next 4 weeks? Yeah. I feel for me personally, I feel like he's going to be all right, because he's got, I think he's got Israeli agents and stuff looking after him, and there's no getting past those guys. I'll be astonished if he doesn't make it, but you never know. All right, Zelenskyy,
so my card's positive. The Chariot, here he is taking control and moving forward.
Mine is the Wheel. It's destined. Yeah.
And I've got here the Knight of Pentacles, which means what? He's not going anywhere.
No.
He's not going anywhere.
I really like the one card pulls.
Very synchronistic.
Very synchronistic. And the last one of the one card pulls. So Jerry W is, oh my God, will Trump ever get charged? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see. I love the one card pulls as well. I think they're great.
Me too.
All right.
We should do more of this.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've got an interesting card.
Ooh.
Let's see what you got. What do you have, Diane?
Yes, but of course I get like the slowest moving, like one of the slowest moving cards of the deck. So yeah, I mean it's a positive card, but at the same time, you know, what's that saying? The wheels of justice turn slowly or something.
Slowly.
Yeah, it's slow going.
Right.
I get the Hierophant, you know, they're into the government, that they're coming after him. Absolutely.
And what do I get? I get the King of Wands, the entrepreneur.
Yes.
So isn't that interesting? We're talk about Duck Laurent. So when you put all of our things together, it's like, yeah, they're looking at the entrepreneur. Things are turning, but it's not turning very quickly. And we've seen, you know, they have been very shy, very coy. Look at how that New York thingamajig just went massive spanner in the works. But as you know, I've been saying 2023, I feel that's when really things start dropping in terms of Donald Trump's chart. But we remain, obviously we want things to go quicker, but you know, those weren't quick cards, were they? Anyway, so look, the time has gone. That's an hour. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you so much for the donations. And many of you, I think we were up to 1,270 or something like that at one point. So thank you for taking your time to join us all. Of course, Diane, braving it through the storms to stay here with the connection. Again, the connection is so strong between the three of us. The cards always seem to just synchronize, isn't it? No matter how far apart we are. So that's Diane, of course, in New England, and Lady G with your gorgeous earrings. Thank you so much. Coming from New Mexico, and wonderful reading as always. And as you know, I'm here in London. So thank you guys. And we will see you next week, all being well and internet being good. Let's hold on. We don't want to be digging ourselves out.
Oh, Lordy.
And thanks for joining us, everyone. And I think that was a great show. So see you all, folks. See you all soon. Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.